Hello and welcome back. We are still in day 14. In earlier lecture, we understood about Git basics and GitHub. Now, in this lecture, we'll understand about branching, why branching, how to do branching, and then we will see how to actually make a pull request. What is this pull request? And we will see how to merge the branches. Very interesting topics. Let us continue. If you know uh, all this, please feel free to skip this lecture and go to the next lectures. Okay, let's get started. Right now, we are having only one branch called as main branch. So, what is the concept of branching? Why do we need branching and how it will help us in achieving CI/CD? Let me tell you. Please understand this carefully. Normally, what we do is we use CI/CD to actually do the deployments whenever a commit is done. I will tell you the CI/CD process, how it happens. Then, how branching can help us. Let us try to understand the concept first. So, suppose this is my Git repository. In Git, there is only one branch called as main branch. Now, assume that this is my production server. Production server in production environment. What I want is, let's assume that for my Git repository, there are multiple developers working on same Git repository. Okay, before I go ahead, let me tell you how to add multiple developers, multiple collaborators for the same Git repository. How? What we can do is, suppose if I am in my repository and for my repository, I want to add other developers also as collaborators. So what I can do is I can go to settings, collaborators. I can invite any collaborator. I can add people. Actually, I have one more GitHub account. I can add Siva Prasad Valuru. This is my other GitHub account. So I want to invite Siva Prasad Valluru as a developer into this repository. So I should have got a mail. I have to accept the invite. So actually like this, we can have multiple developers who will be working on this repository. Okay. Now, assume that there is only one branch, main branch. All the developers will be committing to the same branch. Now, what we will do in CI/CD process is we'll be configuring in our next step Jenkins, our CI/CD server we are going to use. We can configure a job in Jenkins to poll the Git repository for any new commits. I can configure Jenkins to poll for commits on main branch or any other branch as well. If there is any commit by any developer, what the Jenkins will do, Jenkins will check out the code. Okay. And then on that code, it will issue Maven. I'll configure it to issue Maven deploy. So it will be deployed to production server. Okay. Suppose if I configure CI/CD like this, this is a production server. What will happen? If any developer, let's assume that we have multiple developers, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, developer 4. So one of the developer committed his code onto main branch. What if there is he introduced some issue he introduced a bug, maybe. This commit might have introduced a bug. So what will happen? The Jenkins will check out this code and do deployment. So my code with bug is deployed. In production server, this is a problem, right? So to avoid such problems in production, what we do is normally in organizations, they will have multiple branches. What we can do is we can actually have, instead of main, first, okay, let it be main. We can have multiple branches. I will just represent the branch in another way. So assume that we have our test branch, production branch. We'll create another branch called as production, and maybe another branch called as pre-prod. Okay. Now there are developers, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, developer 4. Like that, there are multiple developers. Whenever a developer commit, they have to commit onto test. Any developer, they will commit onto test branch. Now I'll configure my Jenkins. One job I will configure on my Jenkins to deploy the changes to a test server in test environment. So whenever any developer commits his code, the Jenkins will deploy it to test server. As it is a test environment, if the developer is committing and if there are some bugs, later our testing team can test it. And if they report any issue, will not be, it's not a problem because it is in test environment. Assume that the two commits are done, third commit also is done. Now in this commit, there are no issues. The deployments are successfully done on test server. We tested it. There are no issues. Okay. Now our testing team decided that this is the version which we want to deploy. So we can name this commit as V1, version 1 of our code. And then we can actually merge it into pre-prod branch. Whatever commits, whatever this commit, I will merge into pre-prod branch. So in pre-prod V1 is merged, we'll merge the code. Then I'll configure another Jenkins job to actually poll for any commits in this pre-prod. And what it will do, it will deploy it to a pre-prod environment. In organizations, they give different names. Maybe they use something like QA environment for quality assurance or pre-prod. Most of the companies I know, they're using the name as pre-prod. It's up to you, up to your organization. So anything which is committed onto this branch, pre-prod branch, the Jenkins will deploy to pre-prod branch. And we'll do all quality assurance, whatever we want to do. We will do all kinds of testing and we'll do everything. Fine. Now, our team decided that whatever deployment is done on pre-prod is fine. Then what we'll do, we will merge this onto production branch and name it as release 1. So in production, release 1 is done. Then again, a Jenkins job will pull this changes and then deploy the changes to production server. So that is how the life cycle happens. We don't directly deploy our changes on production server, right? Assume that other developers did some commits again, lot of commits on test branch. Whatever commits they are doing, they will be doing it on test branch. Okay. This prod branch can also be thought of as main branch or final branch. Okay. Whenever developers are committing, they will always commit on to test branch. Okay. And whatever, let's say we want to release, this is V2. Whatever commit is stable, and whenever we want to release our changes to production, we'll move this on to pre-prod. Then after all quality assurance and all, we'll move it on to production branch, and maybe this is released too. So like that, the CI/CD life cycle goes on. So we configure multiple branches. How to configure multiple branches, right? So let me show you what I can do is, I'll go to my code. Here right now, there is only one branch. I can click on view all branches. I can create a new branch. I can say test, create a new branch. So a branch, there's a new branch right now, test. Okay. Now I'll go to code. I can switch between main branch and test branch. So in test branch also, the code is synced. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, I want to switch to test branch from my local here. So what I can do is, I can say git branch -m test. Now I see here, this is saying that I am in test branch. Okay. So whatever changes I do, that will go into test branch. So I'll go to this one, and I will go to src main manual. I'm doing main, and in this my impl, I will just edit manually to just tell you the concept. And here I'll just do some changes. I removed A, okay, in the log message. Fine, I did some changes. Close it. Now, here I will write, I'll execute git status. It is saying that there is one file which is changed. Now I have to add it to staging, git add. Fine. Now I have to commit, git commit -m, committing to test branch. Just I am giving a message. See, right now I switch it to test branch. Whatever I am doing as a developer right now, I'm committing to test branch. Fine. Now this is commit which is done on my local. I have to push it. Git push. -u origin test. See, everything is pushed from test to test. If I go to here and refresh, see, right now in test, it is saying this branch is one commit ahead of main. Okay. If I switch to main, no, it is not showing. There are three commits in main. If I switch to test, there are four commits. If I see the commits, there's a new commit committing to test branch. But this commit is not visible in main branch. There are only 3 commits. So again, going to code, here I will switch to test branch. Now, what I will do is I'll go to main branch. See, what I want is assume that this main branch is nothing but my production branch. I don't want any developer to actually merge the changes onto main branch. Okay. So normally the production branch, we will protect it. So actually what your main branch is not protected, it is saying, because anybody can merge the changes. Anybody can commit into main branch. I don't want anybody to directly merge into my main branch. So I want to protect this branch. So to protect, what are my conditions? Before merging, a developer has to make a pull request. Okay, let me tell you. So on Git, I am your administrator. Assume that I am your admin. And there are developers, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3. Developers will be committing to test branch. For main branch, they should not be able to commit. So developer 1 committed, developer 2 committed. And finally, we want to merge this. After this commit, there are 2 commits right now. After this commit, we want to merge it to main branch. So developers should not be able to do that. A developer will actually should create a pull request. He should make a request to pull his changes. A developers will make a pull request. Then administrator will get a pull request, and admin only can actually verify the changes. Maybe the admin will discuss with the developers why you have done this commit, what all changes, etc. And if everything is fine, the admin will actually use the pull request and do the merge. Assume that this main is nothing production branch. So that is how it happens. Developers should not be allowed to directly merge. Okay. So what I am doing is I'll again go back to code. Here it is saying your main branch is not protected. I want to protect this branch. Actually, I am the administrator, assume. Protect this branch. Here I am saying requires a pull request. Okay. And what there is one more option, requires approvals. The number of approvals required before merging is, I can specify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Assume that in my organization, there are multiple people who are managing, multiple developers, maybe your team lead or anybody. So to actually merge the pull request, assume that in our organization, we need at least 2 members to approve the change. 2 members should approve the change. Then only we should be able to merge the pull request. So what we can do is we can configure requires approvals and number of approvals required. Right now, I don't have much users in my repository. I will say number of approvals required before merging is 1. So I will not do all the other things, create. So this is one rule I created, my branch protection rule. Currently, one rule is applied. Hmm? Fine. Now I'll go to the code. Okay. So then I'll go to test. Assume that I logged in and okay, this is actual Siva LWWW is a owner, right? What I have done is I have actually made Sivaprasad Valluru as collaborator. Let me check my Gmail. Did I get? Yes, I got a mail. Siva LWW invited you to collaborate. So I will view the invitation. See here in this browser, I am logged in as Sivaprasad Valluru. On Chrome browser, I am logged in as Siva LWW. Now I will accept the invitation. Now I am in Sivaprasad Valluru account and I can see these two branches, test branch also. Okay. Now there is one test branch is one commit ahead, right? What I can do is I can click on contribute and open a pull request. So assume that I'm a developer and I made a commit. I can send a pull request. Um, Here I can give any message. Pull changes from Siva Prasad Valluru. This is my account name. Pull request to pull changes. And I can just give any comment. Please, please pull my changes. Okay, create a pull request. So, as Siva Prasad Valluru, I created a pull request. It is saying review required. At least one approving review is required by reviewers, right? So merging is blocked. Here, this is disabled. Okay. So who is the owner of the pull request? Siva Prasad Valluru. Okay. I can assign it. Assign this pull request to Siva LWW. Okay. Now I'll log in to this account as Siva LWWW. I'll go to pull requests. There is one pull request. Pull request to pull changes from Siva Prasad Valluru. So if I click on it and it is showing review required, right? I'll go to files changed. So I'm able to see the changes. This is minus means this is removed and this is added, right? So I will click on review changes. If I want to do comment without approving, I can just leave a comment. I felt that this code is fine. I can merge it. What I can do, Siva LWW as this user is approving. Submit the review. So changes approved. One reviewer has approved the changes. Now I can see here this is enabled right now. One approval is done. I will merge the pull request. Confirm merge. Siva LWWW is merging. to main branch. Okay. Merge, confirm merge. Pull request successfully merged. Right? Now, if I go to code, in my main also, in my main, what happened? There are commits. Earlier, there were 3 commits. Now, I can see this 4th commit. So, this is one commit done to test branch. The commit from test branch also will come here. And then this is one more commit while merging. Okay, to the main branch. So now the code is available in main branch also. Like that, what we do is whenever a developer commits any change to the test branch, he can make a pull request, and after reviewing the pull request will be merged onto the main branch. Like that. This is how merging happens.